Saints 365 is a passion project to glorify God and honor His saints. This project is based upon the book, The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler.
November 14th, Saint Didacus. Saint Didacus was born in Spain in the middle of the 15th century. He was remarkable from childhood for his love of solitude, and when a youth retired and led a hermit life, occupying himself with weaving mats, like the fathers of the desert. Aiming at still higher perfection, he entered the order of St. Francis. His want of learning and his humility would not allow him to aspire to the priesthood, and he remained a lay brother till his death, perfect in his close observance of the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, and mortifying his will and his senses in every way that he could contrive. At one time, he was sent by his superiors to the Canary Islands, whither he went joyfully, hoping to win the crown of martyrdom. Such, however, was not God's will, and after making many conversions by his example and holy words, he was recalled to Spain. There, after a long and painful illness, he finished his days embracing the cross, which he had so dearly loved through his life. He died with the words of the hymn, Dulce Lignum, on his lips. Reflection. If God be in your heart, he will also be on your lips. For Christ has said, From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Also celebrated on November 14th, St. Lawrence O'Toole, Bishop of Dublin. St. Lawrence, it appears, was born about the year 1125. While only 10 years old, his father delivered him up as a hostage to Dermot MacMurchad, King of Leinster, who treated the child with great inhumanity, until his father obliged the tyrant to put him in the hands of the Bishop of Glendalough, in the county of Wicklow. The holy youth, by his fidelity in corresponding with the divine grace, grew to be a model of virtues. On the death of the bishop, who was also abbot of the monastery, St. Lawrence was chosen abbot in 1150. Though but 25 years old, and governed his numerous community with wonderful virtue and prudence. In 1161, Lawrence was unanimously chosen to fill the new metropolitan see of Dublin. About the year 1171, he was obliged, for the affairs of his diocese, to go over to England to see the king, Henry II, who was then at Canterbury. The saint was received by the Benedictine monks of Christ Church with the greatest honor and respect. On the following day, as the holy archbishop was advancing to the altar to officiate, a maniac who had heard much of his sanctity, and was led on the idea of making so holy a man another St. Thomas, struck him a violent blow on the head. All present concluded that he was mortally wounded, but the saint, coming to himself, asked for some water, blessed it, and having his wound washed with it, the blood was immediately stanched, and the archbishop celebrated Mass. In 1175, Henry II of England became offended with Roderick, the monarch of Ireland, and St. Lawrence undertook another journey to England to negotiate a reconciliation between them. Henry was so moved by his piety, charity, and prudence that he granted him everything he asked and left the whole negotiation to his discretion. Our saint ended his journey here below on the 14th of November, 1180, and was buried in the church of the Abbey at Eau, on the confines of Normandy. St. Didacus and St. Lawrence O'Toole, pray for us.
Saints 365 is narrated by Rob Roller, edited by Josh Bach, and produced by Our Local Parish Productions. Funding for this project is made possible by Catholic businesses. Please go to the business directory at ourlocalparish.com to support these generous businesses. Thank you for listening. God bless.